Good morning and welcome in. This is a little thunder here on Facebook Live. We'll put it up on YouTube and thundermke.com as well. But good morning, good morning, good morning. Lots to unpack this Tuesday morning, and we'll see how the audio does because it is windy outside. And yes, I know I'm on a tripod, but I'm going to show everybody this really cool structure, this lean-to that kind of fell down during the night, but that is what my kids and some of the neighbor kids built yesterday during the rain so that they could still eat lunch outside. They enjoyed some amazing Matzah Pizza, which we usually only eat during Passover, but they loved it. They asked their parents where they could get Matzah Pizza. Our kids love the Matzah Pizza. So good morning, welcome in. Happy Tuesday to everybody. Thanks so much for being here. And as I was derelict in my duties yesterday in what I needed, the message I needed to convey. So today I will convey it. Mazel tov. Congratulations to Armen Saryan and to his beautiful, beautiful bride-to-be. That's right, over the weekend. Armen Saryan, where he went on his first date with Laura, they went to a game at the Bradley Center, a basketball game. So while walking around downtown this weekend, Armen Saryan dropped to a knee. You can see it on his Facebook page. And if you don't know who Armen is, if you're friends with me and don't know who Armen is, Armen was my partner in crime at iHeartMedia. Armen and I had a show for about a year and a half, the Mitch Nelles show on the Big 920. And then we were part of the Long Shot podcast with Josh Albrecht as well. And our paths crossed quite often toward the end of my tenure with 97.3 The Game, while I was working a lot with Dario Melendez as well. Armen was a big part of that, and Armen continues to be a big part of that station. Armen's near and dear, a very good friend of mine. So congratulations to Armen. Very excited for you. That is awesome, awesome, awesome. So in keeping this message of positivity and kindness, that's why I showed everybody, if you missed it when I first got here, that is our tent, our lean-to that we created, our kids created to protect themselves from the elements. Very cool. They had lunch there yesterday. I think we're gonna have to rebuild it a little bit today. It's fallen, the tent is falling down a little bit. Very windy, lots of blustery weather yesterday, lots of chaos. Speaking of chaos, hi, I'm NASCAR. Have we met? So this is one of those amazing, again, opportunities. What do you believe is real? What is fake news? What is real news? Bubba Wallace finds a noose in his locker, in his area, and sorry, I got something on my screen. And there's a huge showing of solidarity with all the drivers on NASCAR and all his brethren and all the people who, and then there's this huge outcry of fake news, of this isn't real, of it was a serpentine cord. There's all these facts, and it's common sense, and don't you know that it's fake, that it's not real. And not everything can be fake. There are lots of news reports we hear that are questionable, that are partly true, that are some true. Some we hear are totally true, and there's nothing fake about them. Some we hear, we hope they're not completely fake, but there are probably issues with how we report our news. But this isn't fake. You don't make this up, okay? And if you do, I'm gonna ask you to be a better person. Okay, I'm gonna ask you to look inside your heart. And if common sense is telling you that America is in such a bad place that we have to fake this news, what country are we living in? How are we gonna find unity and community if that's the community we're building? If that's the community that we're trying to be a part of? And I know there are tons of issues, thank you, Jesse, with the way we report our news. I know it's a mess. I know there are way too many people, whether they're making advertising decisions or audience decisions or controlling the message. There's way too much of that, no doubt about it. But what if this is real? You know, for everybody who thinks that this isn't real, that this didn't really happen, what if it is? What if you took a step back? Because you're asking everybody else to take a step back and say, you're an idiot, you don't know what you're talking about. What if usually that's true? What if usually I'm an idiot? And I don't know I don't understand the news I'm watching, okay? What if that's true? But what if this time what was reported is true, and you need to take and so I'm just asking everybody, take a step back. Take a step back from A, the news that's reported to you, but B, your supposed interpretation of said news. Because none of it is 100%. News isn't 100% true. Fake news isn't 100% true. But also, it's not 100% false either. Okay? And yes, it's our job to discern what we're watching. And it's our job to discern and to figure out what to believe. And we can do that research. But just because some Yahoo on the internet claims he knows what really happened, you don't have to take that as truth when news outlet upon news outlet upon news outlet upon scientist, upon expert, upon eyewitnesses tell you what actually happened with different circumstances. And sometimes it's okay to believe messages we receive. We can second guess everything, and we can debate everything, and we can fight about everything. But do we really need to? Can't we really do the research and find out, oh yeah, they were telling us the truth? So I'm asking everybody to A, have an open mind when you're discerning the news. But B, if you are anti-news, if you are anti-government, if you are anti-establishment, that's okay. We live in America. You're allowed to be anti those things. But if you're anti those things, then part of your due diligence has to be to figure out the truth and not just believe the one same source that always tells you the same thing over and over again. Soapbox, done. Thank you very much. With that, all the pro sports are in trouble. So we can get into more into this. And Juan Valenzuela is on my wall right now, dropping some really good knowledge about what the professional racing circle is like, and about and different things that he's heard, different things he knows. Honestly, being an insider. I'm not an insider. He is. There are people who are insiders who actually have this knowledge. Let's listen to them. Let's not listen to Yahoo living in his basement in Arkansas who thinks he knows what's going on. So again, professional sports are in trouble. Just professional sports are in trouble in general. Major League Baseball, the owners are now going to force a 60-game schedule. We'll see if it works. I don't know if they're going to let players opt out. I don't know what's going to happen when players get sick. Again, we can all read a 100-page manifesto and figure that out, but we'll see how that develops. Basketball, playing in a bubble, they have an opportunity to make it work, but I still don't see, I talked about it last week and I'm going to talk about it again. I don't see how football's going to work. I just don't see how football is going to work. They're not playing in a bubble. They're going to have, people are saying we're not going to get a second wave because we're not going to finish our first wave. Whether we flatten the curve or not, we started flattening it to an extent, and now it's the Wild West in this country, and everything's open. And in other countries, things aren't open. They close things down enough so that they did see significant results. We're not seeing significant results when it comes to positive tests. We're seeing negative results. Now, people may not be getting as sick as they once were, or the number of people, or we're not hearing about it because it's not sexy news anymore. But you know what? There's still lots of people dying. There's still lots of people getting sick. And I get that we want our sports, but I don't see how football is going to make it happen. And the NFL wants to play. They don't want to show up and say, oh, football's, who cares about coronavirus isn't real. Like coronavirus, people don't get sick anymore. We're just going to play football. That's not how it's going to work. And people are saying, football's not going to work, and we need contact tracing and testing, and our testing numbers still aren't where they should have been. And all that's true. And at the end of the day, I don't see how football's going to work. I don't see you can have 1,500 NFL players. I don't see how you can have 10,000 college football players. 10,000 college football players playing when right now, I mean, I was at the beach in Florida and there were 20-somethings all over the place, all on top of each other. And I don't know if some were football players or baseball players or volleyball or basketball or whatever, or gymnastics or running or whatever sport. But there's college kids everywhere. Wisconsin came back, 117 kids, 2 tested positive. Okay, not a huge number. 2 out of 117. That's less than 2%. But were they all with each other? And so they didn't test positive, but next week they will. Or more, the next wave of 100 athletes are coming in, and 30 of them test positive, or 9 of them test positive. How do you keep those 9 or 11 or even those 2 away from everyone else without a vaccine and without a real treatment that's going to help people? So I don't get how football's going to work. Roger Goodell, the establishment, I don't know how this is going to work. I'd love it to work. It'd be great if it worked, but I don't know about it. Well, it's sunny right now. It rained all last night. Heard it rain. It was great. It was great sleeping weather for me. I don't know what, it looks like there's rain off and on almost most of the week. And so again, if you missed it at the beginning of, we built a tent, a lean-to. It got knocked down a little bit during the night because we should have taken it down. We didn't realize it was going to rain so hard and be so windy. But if you want to send your kids over, don't. But if you want to send your kids over, we'd love if they could. And one day we will again. One day your kids will be able to play in our tent and play in our backyard, and our kids will play together in the front yard, and we'll all get together for a barbecue, and we'll all go to the Estabrook Beer Garden, and we'll all have beers together, and we'll all play on a playground together. One day again, I hope for that to happen again. But right now, really funny, my buddy Mike wrote, "Every day's like Christmas, it's a new scenario," and my friend Jesse wrote, "I think you mean Jumanji." It is like Jumanji every day. Every day is like chaos and just out there, and we're just trying to figure this all together. So again, Tommy, what's Matzah Pizza? Great question. So on Passover, the Jewish people for 8 days or 7 days or whatever it is, and this goes back to escaping Egypt in the desert, the 10 Commandments, that whole thing, escaped so quickly, didn't have time for the bread to rise, so they ate this really thin, flat bread, kind of like crackers, whatever, but it's called matzah. So it's like this sheet of really thin, basically cracker bread. Well, you put tomato sauce on it, and you put cheese on it, you put it in the oven, and it is delicious. And so my kids, it's not Passover right now, you don't need to be eating this, you can eat real bread, but my kids and the neighbor kids yesterday, my kids decided to make a whole batch of it and then came outside and fed it to the neighbor kids. We weren't inside together, and they didn't, we try to keep them as separate as they can, being in Whitefish Bay and having, Evan says it's saltines without the flavor, having backyards that are right next to each other. But we did make lunch, and it's delicious. And so they all want Matzah Pizza. It is super easy to make. It is super quick to make. And so that's what Matzah Pizza is. Great question. Thank you. So again, thank you so much for joining me today. I didn't convert to a Facebook page yesterday because of the technical difficulties with the video, but it looks like we're up and running and we're good again today. So today, if everybody who's watching, everybody's a part of this, just click on accept or confirm or whatever it asks you to do when it says to like Mitch Nelles, the page. I would love that. I would really appreciate that. Thank you so much for being a part of this. Thank you so much for being a part of the conversation. And if you have dissenting views, I want to hear from you. My friend Rob disagrees with every word I says. And you know what? Rob and I can get together for barbecue and we can eat with the best of them, and we still love each other. We just don't agree on things. And that's okay. We need to get there as a people, as a country, that we can hate each other's guts when it comes to political beliefs, but we love each other as people. That is what it's all about. That, as I say like I do every day, is what practicing kindness is all about. So everyone, today like every day, practice kindness. Thunder out.